A second postponement of his prison release date was the outcome of the disgraced reality star Josh Duggar's request that the court appoint him a new legal team for his appeal battle. 37-year-old Josh is presently serving a 151-month sentence for child pornography at FCI Seagoville in Fort Hood, Texas. Josh was supposed to be released on October 2, 2032. According to unique information obtained by the U.S. Sun, his new release date is December 23, 2032. This is the second postponement of Josh's original release date, which was set for August 12, 2032. FCI Seagoville did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the U.S. Sun. In an attempt to have a second trial, Josh begged an Arkansas court to provide him with a new legal team at no cost. The U.S. Sun previously reported on Josh's desire for legal counsel in order to file a second appeal on May 12. According to court documents, Josh requests that this honorable court assign counsel to assist in the analysis and possibly filing of a motion. Josh claims that there are complex constitutional and evidentiary issues in his case, such as legal judgments and trial strategy, potential Brady violations, and errors in the inclusion of forensic evidence. All potential grounds for relief must be thoroughly examined and evaluated by knowledgeable legal counsel since they can be relevant to a collateral attack. Josh Duggar's prison phone minutes have been slashed in half, and he will now have to pay to call his wife Anna and kids. He claimed on his behalf that since his trial in 2021, new legal theories and strategies have emerged in public discourse that may be relevant to the defendant's case. In light of these changes, the defendant wants to discuss with attorneys how to evaluate these novel strategies and whether they can assist with a relief request. Josh asserts that he lacks the skills and resources necessary to carry out a comprehensive inquiry on his own. In order to review the case file, evaluate any possible constitutional concerns, and if there are good reasons, create and submit a 2255 motion, which is a request to challenge a conviction or sentence, the defendant has requested legal counsel. Josh also stated that he is unable to afford counsel due to my current financial circumstances. The petitioner begged the court to consider the seriousness of the case and the approaching statutory deadline as the filing was coming to a conclusion. He begged the federal court in Arkansas to assign him a new legal team before submitting a second motion on June 24, 2025. In a letter obtained by the U.S. Sun, Josh begged Judge Timothy L. Brooks to help with the request. I hope this letter finds you well, began the letter sent to the judge who oversaw Josh's trial on May 12, 2025. I am writing to request the appointment of counsel with all due respect. I am currently incarcerated and proceeding pro se, he stated, referring to the fact that he was defending himself in court. I'm asking the court to help me find a lawyer to look over my case and, if needed, submit a petition to have my conviction and sentence overturned, dismissed, or changed. During my time of incarceration, I have worked diligently to focus on education, personal growth, my faith, and to maintain strong family ties. I am unable to fully assess these matters on my own, which is why I seek the assistance of qualified counsel to help evaluate whether relief is justified. I'm making this remark because I think there are significant problems with trial errors, evidentiary decisions, and other constitutional infractions that call for a thorough post-conviction investigation. Josh then requested that the motion be granted and that the court appoint a counsel for the limited purpose of assisting me in evaluating and preparing a potential motion. Josh's request for a new legal team was denied. The lawyers who handled Josh's child pornography case did not reply to the U.S. Sun's request for comment. Josh has battled to challenge the judgment and defend his innocence since his sentencing in May 2022. Josh initially challenged his verdict in October 2022. In August 2023, the 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals denied his request for a new trial. Justin Gelfand, Josh's lawyer at the time, claimed that during a raid at his car dealership 15 months before his arrest, federal agents confiscated his phone when Josh tried to call his lawyer. He spoke to the agents without a lawyer present. It is true that the agents read him his Miranda rights, which ordinarily might leave someone with the impression they are in custody. The court documents stated in reference to the ruling to deny the new trial. When Duggar signed a form affirming his rights, however, he had the agents scratch out the part that stated he was being taken into custody. After making the required adjustments to the documentation, he was permitted to go. The government benefits from the second and third factors. Duggar sat shotgun in the agent's truck for the questioning. The man retained freedom of movement throughout the encounter as they did not handcuff him. The doors remained unlocked, and he entered and exited the front seat of the vehicle on his own. The agents initiated contact with Duggar, but he voluntarily acquiesced to the interrogation. He began the chat by asking, "Has somebody been downloading child pornography?" and continued to converse for the next hour. After being questioned, Duggar was not arrested. On the contrary, he left the dealership after the interview, hardly a choice granted to someone who is in custody, and came to his own conclusion. The final sentence of the ruling said, "We accordingly affirm the judgment of the District Court." The Supreme Court officially denied the conviction appeal in June 2024. The former star of 19 Kids and Counting, Josh Duggar, was sentenced to 151 months in prison in December 2021 after he admitted to downloading and possessing photos of child sex abuse. This period can be linked to the former reality star's legal issues. Josh was first accused of downloading content about child sexual abuse in May 2019, which prompted Homeland Security investigators to launch their investigation. Homeland Security authorities raided Josh's PC at the car dealership where he worked in late November. On April 29, 2021, Josh was arrested and held without bond in a prison in Arkansas. During a Zoom hearing in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Arkansas the following day, he was found not guilty of receiving and possessing photos of child sex abuse. Josh's trial took place in a federal courthouse in Fayetteville, Arkansas, from November 30, 2021 to December 9, 2021. His knowledge of and access to resources about child sex abuse made him culpable. In May 2022, Josh was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison, along with a $50,100 fine and special assessment. Later, in the second half of 2023, Josh's defense team appealed to the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, but their plea was denied. Shortly thereafter, Josh's attorney appealed for a new trial, pointing out that federal authorities had denied Josh the right to call them while they were taking him into custody. On June 24, 2024, Josh's request was once again turned down. Josh hadn't been inside the prison for years, and he wasn't last spotted going around the track until December 2024. Numerous prisoners have voiced their displeasure with the inhuman conditions in the prison and the fact that they are given food that is either half-eaten, contaminated with bugs, or expired. At the time, Seewald responded to a request for comment from the U.S. Sun by saying, "FCI Seewald provides all adults in custody with food that is consistent with the National Food Menu to include portion size. Since we take complaints about the organization or the services provided extremely seriously, they are all carefully looked into. As of right now, no issues have been reported involving FCI Seewald's food service department." After Josh was arrested in April 2021, he was charged with receiving and possessing child pornography. He was found guilty after a trial that lasted about 2 weeks in Arkansas. Josh received a 151-month sentence in May and was transferred to FCI Seewald in June 2022. While he is incarcerated, his wife Anna stays by his side, caring for their 7 children in Arkansas.